Hey man, how are you? What's up, fellas? Oh, hopefully, Zach. Hopefully, I'll learn it one day. Hopefully. No worries, man. All the best. Have fun at work. Oh, Canberra, from Canberra. That would be sick to go there. I've never been there. From Manchester. Who do you follow, man? City or United? Nah, I've never been to Perth either. Nando's or Portos? Oh, man. I don't really eat either of them. I think last time I went to any of them was Nando's, I think. Cheers, Zach. See you, man. '90s, yeah, man. That was a sick thing. Early 2000s, '90s. Well, even late 2000s. That was a sick thing with Ronaldo. What year did Ronaldo get in there? I can't remember now. What are my thoughts on inflation, interest rates? I'm no expert by any means, man. But it's not looking good, man. As my best friend, who is very much all about the finance world, as he says, one thing that I've learned from him is that inflation, high inflation rates are like cancer for the system. So I know what cancer is. That's kind of the area that I know stuff about. Cancer is it's not a good sign, man. My understanding also from my friend is that the only way the government controls these high inflation rates is to increase interest rates. That's about the only thing that hits that nail on the head. So it's kind of like opposites. You gotta get the balance right. Good morning, man, from Norway. (2003). Wow, so is that the same year? I think LeBron got drafted in '03, didn't he? Wow, so LeBron and Ronaldo's career are more in parallel than I thought. Oh, nice, man. Juzu Zizi. Nice, man. That's a good squat. Good morning, man. How are you? I don't even know when the next Elder Scrolls is going to be, man. I've been waiting for like 12 years, man. But, I've been sucked into all those videos on YouTube. Oh, it's coming in 2020, it's coming in 2019, 20, blah, blah, blah. It's not coming, man. I'm not expecting it for another 10 years, to be honest with you. I have no idea what that company is doing. They made a game that was epic and then stopped making it. I think we're part of the problem with that because we're all still playing it. So why would you want to fix something that's not broken? Like if you're still selling updated versions of the same game, it's all about money at the end of the world. What am I hitting today, dude? I'm feeling worse today than I felt yesterday. I don't know what's going on, man. So I'll just take it easy today, I guess. Well, the volume, dude, is it's like anything, man. You kind of get used to it, and eventually you need a bit more and more. Obviously, there's a ceiling to everything, but the best way to you know handle more volume is to do less. As weird as that sounds, do less and do it more frequently. That's how you get better at the frequency whole game. Um, that's what I would say, man. I can't take that, monster session once a week kind of business. Foot pain, never had foot pain, man. All the best, Will. Have a good one, man. 3 leg days a week, yeah. Yeah, that's it. You know, it just depends. Like, if squatting comes easy to you and you're just like, knocking reps out like nobody's business, then it's fine. But, squats never came easy to me, man. I know it sounds crazy to some of you guys, but I always feel like I need to work on it. Otherwise, like, I remember doing it once a week. Freaking rock up and I'm like, how do you do this again? Like, it's just so foreign to me. Like, ankles are short, lower back is short, rounding, it just looks ugly. No, my rack pull's actually worse than my deadlift. Work that out. So it's definitely a weakness for me. It's only just off 5 kilos, but from all reports that I hear from people, man, people have a little better, rack pulls. So by a lot, like 15, 20 kilos in some instances. Odakle si inače? Ja sam iz Petrinje, man. Petrinja. Peace, Ivan. Gonna keep studying. Nice, Chris. Keep studying, man. Gotta do what you gotta do. Nah, I'm not into any cricket at all, man. Never been to a game. Oh, the everyday, I don't know if it's a trend, the whole squat every day or whatever, exercise every day. But I think there's, fair, much more people now doing it than when I kind of first started doing it. Obviously, I didn't come up with it, but I think it was it got hot around 2010, I feel like, with the whole Bulgarian kind of system, I don't know, into the US or whatever, people kind of got more aware of it. And then he died, and then, I started reading stuff on it, and so I started mine. But yeah, I remember when I started, there was not much talk about it. No one was really doing it. All the excitement kind of died down about it. Oh man. Appreciate you, man. I love hearing that my journey inspires people. I always kind of like hearing that. It's always humbling, man, to kind of realize that my little story at the end of the world inspires people some way. It's kind of cool. It's always cool for me to hear that. Oof. I don't train properly for a few days. I feel like I'm getting tighter and tighter. The more I stretch, the worse it gets. Work that out, man. The more I stretch, the tighter I get. I don't know if that's your experience as well, man, but oh man. So right now I'm getting a bit of pain in the right adductor. Who knows why? Probably inactivity. Oh damn. Bullied around skinny all my life and turned it around into being bulked and dummy thick. Nice. What have I done? What have I done? What am I doing here? Why does the screen act like so dumb like that sometimes? Why can't I just click that? Oh, here we go. Carl, man, thank you for that. Any reasons why you don't do RDLs or stiff leg deads? So I did a lot of, Carl, man, I did a lot of RDLs, man. I wish I could show you, man. I don't tend to show people my my journal. So late last year, I finished a whole notebook of like basically 6 years, 7 years of writing every rep, every set, all my thoughts. Kept like a bit of a book. So that kind of went from cover to cover. The last cover was sometime late last year, and when I started a new journal, continue the squat everyday thing, and on the cover of that new notebook, I wrote in there RDLs on the cover. The reason why I did that is because I felt after reviewing the previous 6 months, a year, after reviewing all of that training, it became apparent that there was a common pattern forming in front of my eyes, and the RDLs was at the time, and I elaborated really well. I wrote a lot actually on this. Why RDLs are very effective towards squats, and I did squats. I did RDLs for the first month or two of this year, January and February, and that led down a very, very good path of deadlifting really well. Got to 265, deadlift, squatted a whole bunch. I'm still kind of watching those videos from January, February, and listening to my thoughts about that period. I was doing like 190 for far by for sets of 5. I reckon I did one session with 3 sets of that, and a lot of sessions of like 180 for 5 by 5, that kind of stuff. I did one session of 7 sets of 5, 180, and it was all on the back of the RDLs. I'm a big fan of it. I'm now currently, when I'm not sick, in a block of rack pulls / block pulls. So I do these types of exercises, partial range of motion stuff. I prefer the rack pulls and the block pulls a bit more because you don't have to walk that shit out. Walking a big weight out, it's never fun, man. I don't like it. That was one of the biggest things I didn't like about it, but it's a great exercise. Great exercise. Yeah, what's happening over there, Henry, man? So 44 days that lady was in office. Why was it so bad, man? So who's the next person? Is Boris gonna come back in? Is that what's happening? Is that even allowed? Can Boris, what's his name, Boris Johnson, can he head back in? Yeah, was that the biggest concern? That she destroyed the economy? That little detail. Kind of need a good economy. Post-COVID as well. Oh man, what a world, man. Yeah, Tom, that's one of my biggest concerns. lower back, lower back, lower back, lower back. You know, I've kind of developed a bit of a tolerance now to it, even though it still makes me sleep really, really well, really tires me out. The lower back, keeping that thing straight, that's kind of my biggest priority in training, to be honest. Strong back. I don't think there's a more important body part, to be honest. Not just training, but life. You know, especially being a nurse, man. You know, there's a lot of back injuries in nursing. Of my squat bar, I think the weight is 20 kilos, man. Of the squat bar. Yeah, it's 20 kilos. I'm pretty sure it's 20 kilos. It's Australia. It's all metric system. So this is a 20 kilo one. That thing's a 20 kilo one. Everything's 20 kilos. Oh, thank you, Brendan, man. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it as well. I mean, usually, you know, I don't get any kind of feedback from people, obviously live. I spend a lot of time in the comments and whatever, but this kind of feels like it's a real thing, man. Like, you know, you guys seem real all of a sudden. You know, it's a really cool thing. We can go back and forth, and you know, I feel like I'm chatting to the fellas at the gym. You know, that's what I like about this. I mean, the repeat watchability, is that the right term? Is probably lower on these videos because it's so long, and you know, there's no structure to them. It's just all over the place. But nevertheless, like I don't stress about that. I just, you know, for the fellas that rock up for these videos, it's really you know, it's really nice. The concept's really, really cool. What time is it in your place? I think it's just before 5. Just before 5 o'clock. Or is it? No, it's more, 5:30. Reverse hyper. I think before getting a reverse hyper, I would get a 45 hyper. I think that would be my, you know, I've never tried a reverse hyper, so I can't comment on that. 335 in Philippines. But that's what I would do, man. I think the 45 hyper is my go-to, man. Maybe my opinion would change if I tried the reverse hyper, baby. You know, it would be good. What age did I start lifting? I probably started like it would have been like 18, 19, something like that. That's when I first started playing around with dumbbells at home and whatever, but that's not really training. I really started properly training, I reckon, well, 25, when I got all this stuff at home. That's when I really started reading literature and reading about it. Before then, I'd go to the gym, like between 20 and 25. It was like, oh yeah, look, I've got nothing better to do today, let's go to the gym. That's not training, man. Like, in my opinion, that's exercising. That's how I kind of distinguish the two terms. Exercising is when you kind of go out and break a sweat and work hard a little bit, and that's it. Training is when you're actively thinking about progression, thinking about how to address certain weaknesses, thinking about a goal, thinking about a modality, thinking about a certain, you know, a certain part of performance that you want to increase. Like that's different. That's training. Thank you, guys. How did you overtrain, man? How did you overtrain? This is the thing about overtraining, dude. No doubt overtraining exists, but I think overtraining is often, you know, misused. The term is misused. Like, overtraining is definitely a thing. You know, you can definitely break your body down into freaking dust you know, if you train like a madman. My question to you is, so you got piriformis syndrome now, which is, you know, I'm sad to hear that. That's a shit thing to have. I always think to myself though, was it overtraining or undertraining the weaknesses? That's what my brain automatically goes to, right? Because you could have a situation. You can have a situation where you're, you know, perfectly balancing your program, perfectly optimized, right? So for every squat you do 2 pulls. Let's say that's the ratio in my mind, right? A lot more pulling than squatting keeps my body healthy, keeps my hips healthy. So in the last 4 or 5 days, I haven't done any pulling, right? Because I've been sick. And right now I've pulled up. And I started feeling a bit yesterday, and my right adductor's upset. And I know what sort of session today is going to be. I mean, it's going to be a shit session regardless, but I don't feel like I have good mobility because I didn't pull the last 5 days. I've been sick. So these ideas of piriformis syndrome, patellar tendonitis, this tendonitis, that tendonitis, all these things that happen in our body, tennis elbow, is that an overuse injury, as the masses would let us to believe, or did we use one side more than the other? I guess you can call it overuse, but I reckon you could have done the same volume that you did for whatever you did, however you ended up with the piriformis syndrome. Can't even say the word anymore, Jesus Christ. But I reckon if you did something to offset that, so the equal opposite movement to that exercise that you were doing, to go into this mud, I reckon you'll be fine. So this is what I always tell people: oh, squats will break your knees. This will break your knees. Everything will break your knees. Variation is king. Conjugate. Change exercise every 3 weeks. That doesn't sit well with me, man. It doesn't sit well with me because that is like completely giving up on the idea of trying to understand the system beneath us, right? We don't understand what's going on neck down, so let's just freaking rotate the shit out of it and copper bomb everything. You can have that approach. To me, that doesn't excite me. I want to know, what is the exercise? How can I coexist in such an extreme environment as squat every day? How can I coexist with it? What do I need with it, right? You know, I have a soldier, squat every day. I need a medic along with this soldier to make the soldier fight really well in war. That's how I think about this stuff. And what is the medic? What is that supportive staff, supportive movement that we need to make it happen? For a long period of time, I was kind of getting ideas. Now I know it needs to be some sort of pull. You know, so what's responsible? What's happening when we pull? What sort of pull? I'm not sure. My gut feeling it's something to do with the adductors, but I'm not sure. But, you know, a lot of people say, you know, I've got this injury, I can't squat a deadlift for 6 weeks or for whatever period of time. I just my brain automatically reverts to, I reckon you could, if you found the right movement to go with it. That's kind of how I automatically get triggered. I'm kind of like that everywhere. Like, you know, my Evo is running 600 kilowatts at the wheels. Can't drive it anymore, man. Every time I freaking drop the clutch, I break it. Just can't do it. You can't drive these cars that often anymore. You can make that conclusion. No, man, you got a 600 kilowatt engine, right? You got a really, really powerful engine. How about we improve the drivetrain? You improve the drivetrain, all of a sudden you can drive that sucker every day. Is that same type of thing, you know? People come, you know, jump to conclusions and say, upright rows, it's really, really bad for your shoulders. Don't do that. ATG squats, don't do that, really bad for your knees. Deadlifts, really bad for your back. Don't do it. Maybe once a week, maybe once a month. And I'm always like, man, people are jumping to conclusions really, really quickly. But that's just me. Like, you know, that, and I'm kind of letting you into a kind of my mind, how I think about movement, performance, and all this. And, you know, I always say to people all the time, man, like the physical aspect of this whole journey is great. You know, that's something that I really enjoy. But I love the intellect, the intellectual side of it. You know, working out what's really going on. You know, so this sounds great to some of you guys, but I reckon in the next 1,000 days I'm going to work out exactly the best type of movement, pulling movement, what type of engagement, what's going to happen for me to really nail down. Instead of like spraying and saying pulling, I'll be able to kind of, you know, narrow that spray of that, you know, garden hose a bit finer and kind of be like, okay, no, it's the adductors, it's that Magnus, or it's the whatever it's called, the other long one. I always forget that there's 50 freaking adductors. There's the Magnus, there's the brevis, I think. Anyway, I'll look it up later. Consistency. You've done this for 1,000 days straight. What does it take mentally to get there? It's a very, very common question. What does it take mentally? It's a very, very broad question, dude. It's got nothing to do with watching this channel or that channel or listen to this person or that person. I think you got to zoom out a little bit and look at life. And I really don't want to take you there every video with some of these thoughts, but think about your death. I know it sounds freaking crazy. I always think to myself, someone's going to call the mental health team to my door because they're going to be concerned about some of the shit that I say on these videos. What motivates me is the freaking gravestone that's waiting somewhere in the world for me. That might depress the living shit out of you. To me, it motivates me. It lets me know that, oh, you're feeling lazy today. That's cool, man. What if I told you, what if you knew, the exact amount of freaking days left in your life? Are you willing to forfeit one day of that number to just doing jack shit? You don't have many more, man. You don't have many more. How many more years do you have in your life? We don't know. You're just going to throw another year out? I'll start in January next year. I'll really start squatting and working hard. I'll set my goals. Oh yeah, so you reckon you have so many years in your life left that you're willing to blow the last 2 months of this year? You might have some extra knowledge that I don't, but I don't know when I'm going to go. Shit, I would hope I hit 80. I might not. What if I hit 60? I'm 33 now. Shit, man, that's 27 years left. 27, fuck. That's a bit of a kind of look into where my mind is when it comes to this type of shit. A lot of it comes from nursing. A lot of it comes from putting people in body bags. A lot of it comes from like life experience. I think about things deeply. I'm a deep thinker. Deeply meaningful. I can go from 0 to 100 real quick when it comes to these thoughts. They're always kind of simmering in me, these thoughts. I won't tell you that I'm a fan of having these thoughts, like what's the meaning of life and what happens after death, all these types of things, the heavy questions. I'm not going to tell you I'm a big fan of thinking about these thoughts because there isn't a single person on this planet that actually knows what's up. There's all speculations. You know, what the Bible says, what the Quran says, what this book says, what that person says. Everyone's got an opinion, and we know that everyone there's groups of people that reckon they know what's up. You know, you can read until the cows come home, but no one really knows. No one's come back from the dead with almighty knowledge and tell us what's up. So that's what gets me to do this, you know, let's say meaningless shit, squat every day, squatting. Is that a really important thing in your life? I should be sitting on a rock right now thinking about what the whole point of drawing the next freaking breath in. What's the point of that? Not how I'm going to break my squat plateau. Like, who are we kidding, man? That's the umbrella of thought. And then I start going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Don't get me wrong, like having simple thoughts about how to improve dorsiflexion is also very refreshing for the mind. But that's what gets me out of bed, man. You know, maybe I'm different. Maybe a lot of you guys are like, shit, man, that is heavy. That is heavy and that is really depressing. And I don't know how you're not on tablets, medications for this stuff. But for me, it motivates me. It just gives me urgency, right? It gives me urgency because I do not have time. I don't have time to be lazy. I don't have time to be, you know, wasting time, man. And you know, the biggest moment in my life that really kind of gave me a kick out on the bottom was when I had kids. I was like, man, this kid's gonna be X amount of years and X amount of years. He's gonna know who I am. I want to be somebody. I want him to be proud, you know. And it's like now you got this timer. Like these kids are growing really quickly, and they're gonna want to, you know. I want to impress them. I want them to be proud. I want them to be really good and trained and healthy and all that. So now I'm like, I gotta get going, you know. Kyle, Zoof, thank you for that again, man. Been at a squat plateau for a while now. Should I stop squatting and focus on deads? Advice. You could. I wouldn't. I wouldn't stop squatting. I mean, first of all, dude, I would ask you, man, what have you done? What have you done to break the plateau? Have you changed the volume? Have you increased the volume? Have you decreased the volume? What supporting exercises are you doing? Where are you failing? Are you know, universal? Do you have any pains? How are you squatting? Have you tried different variations? What's your front squat? What's your back squat? Let's talk about weaknesses. Which part of your body do you think is weak? Quads, hamstrings, glutes, adductors, bracing. There's many different things at it. I think everyone's going to hit a plateau. The way I think about it is like this, man. You know, in video games we go like bars. So let's say Ivan is the character in Skyrim, and there's all these different skill trees, right? Let's just call them bars. My bar for archery is really good. It's like 60 out of 100. It's really good. All the other crap is like dispersed. The next one is like maybe 30. Everything's dispersed. Archery is really good in certain scenario, but then somebody comes up with a sword really close to you, you die. So what do you learn from that death? I need to get better with this. Okay, let's improve blocking and swords, skill. And so these bars start to go up. That improves your chance of survival in these situations. With squatting, with this training business, there's all these different bars, freaking 100 bars, right? So you hit a plateau. So immediately in your mind, you have to go, okay, so what is keeping me back? What is killing me in this scenario? What's happening? You need to assess, you need to work out for yourself, what is the thing that's lacking? I think, make a hypothesis, you will be wrong. You'll be wrong many times over, but don't be just idle and continue to hit your head against the wall. You've given the current thought a really good run, it's not working for you. Make a hypothesis, run the experiment for the next couple of weeks. Okay, hypothesis is this. I think I'm really strong in the quads, and I'm really weak in my glutes. This is why I'm failing in the squat. That's the cause of my plateau. The whole progression is being halted by this weakness that I have. It's drawing the whole team down. I'm dying in Skyrim because of that. Okay, next 3 weeks I'm gonna focus on my glutes. I'm gonna do walking lunges. I'm going to do hip thrusts. I'm going to do RDLs. I'm going to do block pulls. I'm going to do all these different things to address that guy. 3-4 weeks go by, let's say, you've been hammering the hell out of, you've been doing squatting, don't get me wrong, you're still squatting, still banging your head against the wall there, but you've just plugged this new side quest into it, and you're going bonkers. After 4 weeks, you're still in the same place. Hypothesis was wrong. Let's make another hypothesis. Sometimes I go to the opposite. Okay, I think my glutes are strong, quads are weak. That's your quads. Now these time frames I've been very guilty of having short time frames, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week. Should generally give it a little longer, like try 6 weeks, then you start to kind of feel what's going on, probably even longer. But that's kind of how you work around it. Eventually, even while you're in the midst of the first week, you might feel, oh shit, my squat is feeling different since I've added this. That's how you find a path forward. That's how you progress, further. So the plateau, when you say what worked for your plateau, it's almost like a pointless question to ask. I get where you're coming from, but it's a pointless question to ask me, what worked for me, because everyone's got different bar distributions in the video game. So you got to work it out for yourself. But like I always teach people, I don't want to sell you a program. I don't want to tell you what to do, man. I want to teach you how to fish. You will never be hungry. I want to teach you the tools, not teach you, I hate that word. how should I say it? I want to tell you how I approach things, and maybe you can learn something from me. Okay, this is how Van does it. He's this like bro scientist, let's say, and he's always throwing these hypotheses around and trying to work it out. If you have 1,000 years, let's say 1,000 freaking years you have to live, you're an elf, whatever, you're some supernatural human being, 1,000 years, you're gonna work that shit out. You're gonna work it out. 1,000 years, it's a long time. You're gonna run every single freaking experiment. You're eventually gonna work it out. Trouble with the human life is that we don't have a lot of time, and so there's an urgency about us, and people get really restless, and they just want to get on with it. That's how I think about it. The funniest thing of all, and the most frustrating thing of all, after a little while, you're gonna hit the nail on the head, and you're gonna get to a point where you're progressing the squat now. You might even jump 10 kilos, big jump, bang, PR. Welcome to the next plateau, my friend. Why is there always another plateau? Now there's another thing, there's another skill in that skill tree holding your ass back. Where is that? The process begins again. Rinse and repeat. This is why I don't get all that happy when I set a PR, because I just know that the shit is just gonna continue coming. That's how I think about it. Okay, that's great. I've got a 2:12.5 PR now. Oh, I'm so happy I worked that last freaking plateau out. Now let's work this out. What's holding back? Now you might really have a big deficit, and you hit a really nice period where you're progressing, and you make that weakness your strength now, and now your archery is the problem, and now you got to improve. So you're always chasing your tail, and that's what training is, and to me that's what the fun is, and that's what the intellectual side for me. That's what the attraction is. It's a big puzzle. It's always moving. It's always evolving. You can never really put it in concrete. It's always on the go. Anyway, let me sit in the hole with the squat a little bit. With this tight freaking adductor. It's not going to be nice done, but oh man. I feel like an 80-year-old man. I'm not even in the shot properly, am I? The side. Let me get this up a little bit. Stretch while I'm standing. Is that high enough? Wobbly, wobbly, wobbly. Hey Matthew, how are you, dude? It's raining. Hopefully the camera doesn't get rained on. Oh, that's right, man. Glad you made it for a sec, though. Jeez, it's already been 40 minutes. Wow, man. How? Yvonne, what does your wife and wider family think about your making these videos? squatting every day. Man, for about 376 days, I made these videos in secret, if you want to say it that way. I mean, people knew, but you know, it was the channel had like 300 subscribers, whatever. The first 2 years, it was just like a library. So everyone kind of knew I was making these videos. They just viewed it as that. You know, he's putting these videos as a library thing, you know. And then on 377, you know, that video blew up, you know, started getting more recognition. And when you start getting more recognition, people are like, oh, okay. Even the closer people are like, oh, wow. So there's interest within the community of weightlifting. Because, you know, the people around me that are not, they're not really in the community of, you know, training. You know, but when you have peers of whatever you're doing, recognize you and appreciate you for what you're doing, all of a sudden the people that are not in the peer, you know, people outside the community of training, they start to appreciate you as well more, because they're like, okay, what you're doing is actually meaningful and it's peer reviewed in a way. And then since then, I've been kind of, people have been like kind of really interested in the process of what I'm doing, and that's when the questions started coming in. Obviously, like my close family, close friends, they all knew kind of what was going on. I often shared about, you know, love talking about freaking weightlifting, even if they didn't want to hear it. I was talking. But you know, my colleagues and everyone started asking questions when, you know, that 377 video broke out, and let's say I officially became a YouTuber. You know what I mean? Before then, it was just like whatever, man. Everyone uploads videos to YouTube, you know. My wife's supportive, man. She really is supportive. You know, if you think about it, man, like the amount of time I dedicate to this, you know, she just on that thought, she supports it like crazy, man. Like, I don't know how many, you know, there's a lot of partners out there, you know, that I've heard of, you know, guys can't even go to the freaking pub and get a beer, man. And here I am sticking 14 hours a freaking week in training. I think that the difference with all this became where, you know, for my wife at least, you know, when this became, you know, a source of income for me, you know, initially it was peanuts, you know, but when it started making us, you know, a potential source of income, she was like, okay, let's treat it a little bit more professional, you know, like if you're gonna make this work, then, you know, let's make this work. And this is where I kind of started interacting with the community more. It wasn't just me kind of chatting with my mates freaking, you know, 2 hours a day every day. It was me, let's say, working, so it was more acceptable, right? Like, it's kind of like, I remember back in the day, man, like I'd play video games, right? I'll play FIFA day and night, and I always felt guilty because it's just a me thing, right? It was just a me thing, and no one else gets anything out of it. It's just a me thing. With this thing, because this is kind of like gone wider, it's become kind of more acceptable to like say to people like, oh yeah, I squat every day, you know. Whereas if you didn't have the recognition, it's harder to sell to people. I mean, to me internally, it's the same thing. I'm still freaking squatting every day. I'm still doing the stuff. Nothing changes. But you become more accepted, kind of in the wider community, you know. Yeah, those birds, I know. They had a shower today, so I don't know. Are they crying or are they excited? I don't really know what's going on. But yeah, that's kind of how I mine keeps telling me to grow up. Yeah, it's that's the thing, man. Like, what if I was a freaking world best FIFA player, video game player? You know, all of a sudden you don't have to grow up. But when you are not any good at whatever the hell you're doing, then you gotta grow up. And growing up really means get your ass to, like, you know, do the lawn, go to work 9 to 5 and come home and do the boring shit. Not boring shit, but the normal shit. But the moment you have a bit of success, all of a sudden, oh, you don't have to grow up, man. You know, you can continue playing video games. That's a mature thing because it's income. This is what bothers me about the world, man. It's all about freaking money. You know? It's all about freaking money. Why does money make it alright? I want to play video games, man. It's nothing to do with growing up. I'm a 30-year-old grown-ass man. I want to play video games. Well, it's bad? Well, do you want me to go over there and do some coke? You know, pop up a freaking, you know, meth pipe? Do you want me to do that? You know, my parents used to freaking sit around and smoke all day. You know, all day. I'm playing FIFA. What would you rather me do? Or you want me to grow up so it smokes? This is the thing, man. Like, our generation is different now. You know, our smoking is FIFA. Our smoking is video games. Why can't we do that? That's why it bothers me when people are like, oh, just get on with it. Get on with what, man? Like, what are you talking about? It's almost like, it really bothers me when people say that, oh, grow up. You know, oh, you squat every day. Oh, what a joke that is. You know, have you grown up? What the hell are you doing with your life? Smoking 50 ciggies a day. Why don't you grow up? You know? Oh, man. People, man. Ciggies is alright, but FIFA ain't. Antonio, man, thank you so much for that. Appreciate you, dude. It's always like people just... And I'll tell you another thing, man. A lot of people, like, sit on their couch eating those damn potato chips and they're throwing out judgment on the people who are trying to do some stuff. You know? Everyone's got an opinion. Why don't you get your ass off of that couch and do a squat? How about do a squat? I don't want to do that. What's the point of doing that? What's the point of getting fit? You know? But I should grow up because this is immature. But, you know, everyone's got a freaking opinion. You know, it's taken me a long, long while for me to kind of fully be comfortable in my skin and to say whatever the hell I want. Because ultimately, I'm a 33-year-old grown-ass man. I don't give a shit what you have to say. I'm comfortable in this shit. Whatever. Whatever the numbers are, whatever car I got, whatever the family, whatever I got, I'm comfortable with it. And it feels really, really good where you can just tell the world, F you, man, the lot of you. You know, I'm going to continue being down here, not growing up. You do whatever you want to do. I don't tell people to do that. But it's really easy to criticize the person next door. Really, really easy to do that. It's just easy to be like, oh, yeah, Ivan's still immature, he's still a kid, he's still training, wasting his time on barbells. Ivan, you're not going to go to the Olympics, you know that. Ivan, you're not going to break any world records, you know that. Ivan, do you even lift? Look at you, man. What are you doing, man? Look how skinny you are. You're sweating with 1,000 days? What's the point? Well, how many ciggies have you smoked? Are you going to the Olympics with ciggy smoking? How many ciggies do you reckon you're gonna go to the, you know, smoke it up? What's the point of that argument, man? You know? Let me lift this up a little bit more so I don't have to see what he does. Nice. Alright. Pavel, welcome, man, from Poland. That's it. Drawing Dynasty. Is that on an angle? I don't know if that's on an angle. Whatever. Big well, man. How are you, dude? Miloš, kako je? Yeah, actually, I saw when Lou made that channel or whatever. I don't know if it was a recent thing, but the comeback is really interesting. I watched the video last night. I've had a lot of time for myself because I'm like lazing around the house the last few days. Yeah, it's been really interesting to see Lou. I don't think there's ever been anybody that good documented like that, all the way to the Olympics like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see. He looks so skinny to me, man. He looks like he's lost a stupid amount of muscle mass. I mean, I don't know what that is. People have said what they think about what's going on there, but the thing is, you'll never know. You'll never know. Like, you know, you'll never know. We can only speculate what's going on. That's what people reckon. Who knows, man? Maybe, you know, this is the thing. We don't know his medical history. Maybe he had some sickness. Who knows, man?
you know, he lost all this weight because maybe he was in hospital or whatever. Maybe he was off gear, but maybe it was a hospital thing as well. And now he's lost all his muscle. But when he puts all that muscle back, like let's say he's all natural, to put back stuff on is really much easier than to grow it for the first time. So you got to remember that as well. I mean, it could be just gear. I mean, who knows? It's probably the most likely scenario. That's it. That's it, man. Good old trend. I love how trends kind of become like a mainstream, word. Everyone knows about trend. Trend is like it's like a meme now, you know. That's what you gotta get on. DT, well, congratulations, man. Yeah, oh dude, don't stress about all the other stuff. Your life will change, and it will, you know, but just take it as it comes, man. You know, don't overcomplicate it. You know, take one day at a time. You know, the first few months are going to be, you know, a big change. You know, sleep is going to take a hit, all of that, but take it one day at a time, man. You know, that's all you got to do. You don't have to think, oh, I'm going to... Mother Nature, man. The moment you see that little child of yours, things get activated in you and your partner, and it just becomes natural. It's a natural thing to have kids. Man, when I saw my son for the first time, never forget that moment, man. But that is something that stays with you for the rest of your life. It's World Championship in the NBA can't touch that, I don't think. It's unreal. It's so spiritual, it's so deep. It's unreal, man. Unreal. I'm actually excited for you, man. When people tell me around, like, you know, colleagues and stuff, they're pregnant with the first one, you know, I'm like, man, that's a beautiful part of life. Scary, but very beautiful, man. You're gonna love it. You're also gonna hate it equally. You know, the lack of sleep is gonna kill you. The sickness is gonna kill you for years on end. Example here, always freaking sick. You know, trying to be a father, nurse during COVID, full of vaccines, and also trying to push myself hard physically in here. Something has to give, and voila, you've been sick a million times a year. This time around, it's a new variation. We've got tonsillitis. It's a beautiful thing. Excited for this bout. Crazy world, huh? I can't believe there's 100 freaking people watching this stuff. 100 of us. Should be studying for my exams right now, but this is more interesting. Enzo, what are you studying, man? What are you doing? It's not like theoretical physics or something, is it? I don't know how, like, there's intelligence and then there's intelligence. Theoretical physics, maths, like, these people are different human beings, man. Man, I couldn't remember one freaking equation in maths, man. Remember the last time I stopped caring about maths was the quadratic formula. I sometimes say when I'm talking, you know, sometimes when I'm kidding around with people, I'm like, oh yeah, you get the quadratic formula. I don't even know what the quadratic formula actually does anymore, man. Like, it's been so many years. But that's the last equation that I cared about. Not that I cared about it, but they tried to teach me. And people always remind me the quadratic formula is like, it's like, here's a barbell. Here's the quadratic formula. That's like lesson one of life. It's funny. Biotech as well. Wow, biotech, that's cool. Did you say a thesis? You doing masters or bachelor? Oh, my bachelor thesis in biotech as well, but this is more interesting as well. Oh man, I remember when I finished nursing, started working, I was like, I'm done with studying for life. I don't want to see another freaking university, another classroom, another assignment. I'm done. Freaking 6 months in, the boss is like, Ivan, you don't really know what you're doing. None of you guys out of uni know what you're doing. You got to go back in and specialize in emergency nursing. And I was like, you're kidding me, man. Did the first 6 months, I felt like killing everyone in there, man. I was so over it. But then persisted for the next year, 18 months, and I specialized in ED. And that time I was like, I ain't going back. I don't care if you're offering me to be the CEO of this whole damn building. I ain't doing it. Not that I don't like studying. Like, obviously, I spent a lot of time reading about this stuff, the barbell, joints, anatomy. That's my stuff. Like, but studying something that you're not passionate about, it's hard, man. I've done a collab with Seeker Strength, man. I've done it. We did a bit of a podcasty type thing. Yeah, check it out. Just search on my channel, on their channel, or just Google it. You'll pop up. Cool lads. Seeker Strength does the type of content I like, man. The boys are, mature content. It's not like flashy and editing. It's just I'm sitting here, they're sitting on the other side of the camera, and we're having a good old chat. That's what I love about it. Can we see a backflip? Well, you probably can, but then the very next thing you'll hear is the freaking sirens of the ambulance come and pick me up. Oh, dear God. Just a bit of a stretch on a rainy day. Spent a whole day today in the house. All day. Feeling sorry for myself. Oh, Miloše, same as yesterday, man. Probably even worse than yesterday. I don't know what's having in my throat. I'm hoping it's not bacterial tonsillitis. If it is, I need antibiotics. I've been kind of calling it viral tonsillitis. 3 or 4 or 5 days now. Usually viral tonsillitis usually kind of disappears after 4 or 5 days. Starts to get better at least. During the nights, it just gets so bad. Having horrible nights. And then like, middle of the day starts to feel a little bit better. And then during the night I start to feel cold and whatever. And so hopefully tomorrow I feel good. If tomorrow I don't feel good, man, I'm gonna get a script for antibiotics and start drinking those. I hate that. People think antibiotics is a good idea, but think about it. Antibiotic. You drink that, it goes into your gut, it gets absorbed. It kills all the bad stuff and kills all the good stuff. Well, what's the good stuff? There's a lot of natural flora within your bowel system. Stuff that you need for digestion of food. So if you just willy-nilly take antibiotics day and night, you're gonna destroy the ratios, the flora, the good stuff. So think twice. Think twice when you take an antibiotic. So that's why I'm kind of like, look, let's just write it out, because the last thing I want to do is take antibiotics, because then after that you really should be taking in probiotics, which is like yogurty stuff, they've got like products, milky products to get the, yeah, that's it, probiotics, yeah, that's it. Eat pizza to train. Znam još. Čim krene nešto dobro, mora urikvec ponovo. I to je život. Malo pa urikvec. That's how it is, man. That's life. That's, these plateaus that we have, man, they, many causes for it, man. I feel like I put in a few, month or two of really nice training, and then off you go back. It is what it is, man. You have to be to a degree, a bit of a masochist to do this stuff. So much freaking time, investment, and you get nothing out of it. You know, one little sickness sends you back so much, but it is what it is. That's where I lean on the other stuff, you know, like I get so much more out of this. It's not just, the physical stuff. Like I get a lot of goodness out of this. I mean, right now I could be inside watching telly with the fan, as I've been all day, or I can come out here in fresh air, a little bit, chat to you guys, bang out a couple of sets. Why not, man? Why not? Even if it's not super progressive towards my goals, it's still better for other reasons. It's already been an hour, man. How? 61 minutes. How has it already been an hour? Jesus. So quickly. That's it. That's the blood moving. Probably helps me, you know. I'll show you what I'm doing right now. I'll show you. So, just stretching, hip flexors, just leaning into it a little bit. And that's it. That's why I'm standing up. Last few days I've been talking to you guys seated, and I was like, man, it's a lot of sitting. I don't want to sit so much. So let's get up. So that's what I'm doing now. Greetings, man, greetings. Oh, there you go. Oh, you're working out right now. That's sick. We're like working out together from the opposite sides of the globe. Best weather to train to. Oh man, I like a mix. Like 40-degree temperature is fun for different reasons. But yeah, it's probably, I like rain. Rain always gets me right mentally. Love it. It's kind of not raining now, but everything's wet. I like rain. I remember once I was training in the shed, in not this house, the previous house, and it was bucketing down, man. It was proper downpour, and it was so loud in the garage, in the shed, the sound, you know, hitting the tin above me. It was like almost getting scary to be underneath there. It's like, wow, like I like rain, but I don't like it that much. Thank you, man. MS and PD. Have a good sleep, dude. Catch you next time. Oh, you ride 15 minutes to the gym. Yeah, right. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, riding is great. I reckon riding a bike is actually really good for squatting. Hip flexors involved, quads involved, lots of good stuff there. I reckon there's a pretty good carryover. I've never ride on. I've got a bike there, man, but oh yeah, gut health and performance, freaking massive, man. It's huge. It's not a sexy topic to talk about, gut health, but think about it. That's where the fuel comes from. Oof, man. That's where the fuel comes from. If you get that out of whack, you're in big trouble, man. You're gonna start feeling all sorts of weird ways: lethargic, malaise, low energy, crap sleep, poor skin, you know, cloudy, mentally. Not a good thing. You know, this is one of the reasons why I stopped taking protein shakes back in. Jeez, it was probably before my 23rd birthday. Just felt shit ass, man. My guts were just destroyed by this trash that I was putting in. Oh, it's great for you, man. What's great for me? It's freaking powder that's been sitting on a shelf for how long? Would you eat a steak that's been sitting out on a freaking shelf like that for 50 years? It's just pork. It's just shit, man. Shit. And you put that in, and people just take buckets of it in. It lines the whole freaking intestinal system with this shit. And then you're supposed to be healthy, man. the gut is like, it's a vital thing, man. Like, you can't just, you know, absolute trash. You might as well go get Macca's, man. That's kind of, at least Macca's is resemblance of freaking vegetables in there and stuff. Pozdrav, kako je? That's my opinion on, I mean, the supplement industry is, it's trash. Oh, I'm the squat everyday guy. Guys, if you really want to squat really, really well every single day like me, buy this new protein shake that I've just freshly devised with my special team. You got to take half of this can a day and you will improve your squatting ability. You will improve your depth, blah, 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 blah. The code is in the link, but fuck off. Every other guy's doing this, man. The moment they got 5 freaking subscribers, here's a product. Piss off, man. And everyone's selling the same shit, right? Everyone's selling the same shit, except it's a different picture. It's my picture. This logo is on there, so it's, if you want to squat, well, you gotta get, you know, advanced shit. Piss off. Like, do you people think we're all dumb? Does everyone think everyone's just an idiot? Just because you're a freaking social influencer doesn't make you a freaking Einstein, man. You're not an Einstein. There's a lot more smart people out there. What pisses me off about that, and the reason why they still exist, is because there's kids out there who don't know any better. I've been there. Walked up into the shop, I'm like, hey man, I want to get buff, man. Oh dude, you gotta buy this. Man, I brought barely carried that thing to the car. It was like a freaking bag, you know, it's like a bag of rice, you know, full of powder. I took that home, and Dad's like, what the hell is that? What are you doing to yourself, man? What are you doing to yourself? Like, I don't know, man. I'm really negative towards the supplement industry, and everyone, like, you know, all these IFBB pro builders, like, oh, you know, jacked in the pictures doing this in the picture of the tub. We all know that you didn't get those muscles from freaking taking those protein shakes that you're selling. You got that from good old mate Trent. Or when they start selling, you know, equipment on the thing. Some jacked freaking monster of a human being, he's selling you the Ab Pro 2000 sit-up machine, and he's got freaking six-pack like you wouldn't believe. Oh, he got it from that. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. It's just business, man. Money. They would rather trick you to get a freaking cent out of you. If they've done it, beautiful. There's 7 billion more people on the planet to trick. If we get 7 billion cents, we're set. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Water, food, and David Goggins, and you're ready to conquer the world. That's it, man. Yeah, money talks. It always will, man. The money trail is always like that. You know, and the worst thing is, and this is where we get really, really deep into this stuff, is people will go and take a piece of paper and quote research. This research paper says protein powders, the stuff. I'm using protein powder, whatever. That could be anything. Oh, it's been researched by some freaking academics. Must be quality stuff. I know academics closely in my life. I've also been to university. I work there's professors around the place, consultants, specialists. We all know the people that are, in many, many circumstances, the people that are funding this research are funding it with an agenda, with a checklist. Basically, we want this to be the conclusion. We'll use your credentials. Dr. Ivan Djuric, 50 freaking letters after my name, he's conquered the world, he's written this paper, and he says protein powder must be consumed for health reasons, for squatting reasons, deadlifting reasons. Boom. Put my name at the bottom, sell trillions of these things. This is how it goes. I mean, that's an oversimplification, but I'm trying to get a point across, is that just because Harvard published a paper doesn't mean it's gospel. There's lots of interests that we don't know behind the scenes, man. Behind the scenes. You know, global warming has been proven not to be a thing. This research just says. But before he walked out on the stage, some oil freaking tycoon, $50 billion got put into his pocket to say whatever. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't really matter. None of us, again, know anything about anything. It's up to you to make a decision for yourself. Use your logic and your kind of mind to kind of work out what you put into your body. We haven't reached that stage in life where they're freaking forcing us to eat and drink whatever they want. Well, they kind of forced us to take those jabs, I guess. That wasn't a decision we all made. Whether you agree it or not, you know, I would have preferred if they didn't force us to do it. That would have been nice. Here I am blabbering on about it, all this other stuff, and you guys are actually talking about training. Love it. Thoughts on neck training for lifting posture? I don't think it's all that important, man. I mean, you know, every lift is the neck is above the bar, so I don't think the neck needs to be all that jacked. I think neck training is really important for martial arts, because when you get cracked one, that's the shock absorber. That's kind of keeps you healthy. Yeah, Shivana, I will. I'll get there eventually with the poly lifts. Definitely, I really want to get good at those. Just want to get the squat and deadlift moving. Really destroy my lower back. When I say destroy, get really stronger with it. My number one priority right now is to get that rack pull to go to 270. That's all I'm thinking about. That's the thought process right now. Because I know if once I do that, that means I'm going stronger in whatever freaking muscle that's lagging behind. I want my rack pull to be heavier than my deadlift. It makes no sense that my deadlift is weaker, is stronger than my rack pull. So that is a weakness that is glaring, and I really want to knock it on. Once I get that going, then I reckon the deadlift will start going. Once I get a stronger deadlift, I reckon the squat will also improve, and I'll start rolling again. But I really want to address that issue. Oh man. Thoughts on bicep training them, because I feel like in real life situation it would not be like useful. Man, not individual. I'll tell you something, man. Until I had kids, I didn't really think biceps were a thing. But then when you start holding a baby or a child, and you have to hold them for an extended period of time, whether it be the shops or the falling asleep or whatever. But some of the meanest freaking bicep pumps I've ever gotten is carrying a child. I'm telling you, it sounds funny as hell, man, but you need biceps. So then you think about it, like anything that you carry like this requires biceps. You know, the thing that fails on these biceps. So biceps are like, you know, bros love them. It's getting freaking cold. Bros love them because it kind of looks sexy or whatever, but they actually have a pretty good function. I also think that strong biceps improve your front rack as well. Seems counterintuitive, but one of the biceps crosses the shoulders and basically, I always get confused. Is it flexion or extension? Flexion. Flexes the shoulder, one of the bicep heads. So, you know, you'll have better strength doing that because it's a flexion of the shoulder. So training the bicep is a good idea, you know. Obviously you can just do pull-ups, rows, and that's done for that. But I've in recent times I've done direct bicep training purely just for like elbow health when I'm benching. So whenever I'm kind of benching, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want to do some biceps, or I want to do some pull-ups or rows or something like that, just to keep things good. Oh, okay, there you go. Strong biceps sucks for Olympic weightlifting though. Bad elbow lockout. Train them bicep boys. That's it. You need biceps to be a good father, man. If you have small biceps, you're gonna be a bad father. You're gonna have to put them down on the couch, in the crib, and you're gonna have to listen to them cry because you can't hold them. You can't tolerate it. Hey man, suggestion exercise instead of squats. I can't squat really because my hips are done. Your hips are done. Wonder like if you got injuries and stuff. Man, if squats was something that I simply can't do for whatever reason, and I've explored all possibilities and all alternatives to fix all that, I would just become a deadlift machine. That's what I would do. Obviously, it depends on what the problem is and what you know what's going on. But I think the deadlift is the very close second in my books in terms of awesomeness, in terms of practicality, human strength, potential, all that. That's what I would say. Let me try to get this one handy. Hopefully it feels all right. Oh, I'll smash everything around me. Damn, the doctor's killing me now. How weird is that? Such a tight adductor. Oh god. If I don't pull for 5 days, the freaking body starts to break down. Yvonne, you can only do one in your lifetime. Bench 180, squat 300, or deadlift 320. What would you go for? Oh man, I reckon squat 300. Because I reckon if you can squat 300, you're gonna be pretty strong everywhere else as well, man. I really think that, man. Like, if you can squat freaking 300 kilos, man. Even if you got shit freaking T-Rex arms, man, you're probably gonna pull, I don't know, man, 280, you know? Like right now my squat is 210, freaking 212, whatever. Deadlift is 265, man. If I get 300 kilo squat, Jesus, my deadlift is gonna be like 400 or something, man. I don't know. But definitely squat. You know, I would love to have that freaking bar bend around me, man. Like, you know, when you see Clarence Kennedy, the freaking noodling around him. That would be awesome. Show us some muscle ups. I can't even do one, man. Squat every day. It's definitely filled in the void of something for me to do, something for me to worry about. Like in the basketball days, I used to think to myself, okay, this is the problem that I have. You know, last game I played, they kept sending me left because they know when I go right, I'm really strong. You know, both I can pull up, I can take it to the rim, like I'm really strong passing right. They send me left, I can't really dribble left all that well. I'm not really good with the layup with the left, I can't pass with the left. Let's train the left. In squatting, I'm like, oh, these are my deficiencies, this is what I need to work. So that kind of project feel type thing, that's definitely been replaced by the squatting. But what I do miss is the competition, man. You know, the competition is different, man. When somebody strips the ball from you in basketball and they run down the other end to try to lay it up, you just want to run down and like strip it back from them. That immediate response, that interaction, that camaraderie with your team. Like, there's none of that here. It's a very much, I don't know, man. For me, it's almost like opposite to competition. Like, to me, this is meditative. Like, competition is like fierce. It's up energy. This to me feels like, it's like meditation. I'm in here with my thoughts, thinking about what I need to think about. It's just peace, man. Do I want competition again? Yes and no. Like, living in peace is also kind of nice. Oh, what advice would I give to myself at 18? Think about kind of like a couple of different categories. What I would say, man, is I'm thinking something along the lines of, don't worry, man, nobody cares anyway. Something along those lines. Because when I was 18, I was like well aware, oh, I don't want to do that. What are people going to say? Those type of thoughts, like intrinsic thoughts. Oh, I don't want to embarrass myself. Or like now, I'm like, I don't care. Don't care. Obviously, a 33-year-old brain versus an 18-year-old brain, it's different. Yeah, I reckon something along those lines. Like, don't worry about what other people think. Just follow your own dreams. Follow your own thoughts. That's something along those lines, man. How much has my medical background contributed to my... I think a lot. I think a lot, like anatomy, physiology, it's all kind of intuitive to me because, my medical career is all about that. Like, you're thinking about organ function, system function, disruption to that, the treatment, all these different elements people come in with. And then I come in here, I'm thinking about like, okay, this is a problem. I have a problem here. This is how I need to fix it. I'm thinking about, body systems. It's not an engineering problem. This is what people think. Getting stronger is an engineering problem. No, it's a physical problem. Body and the car is different. You can't treat it like that. Biology is weird, man. Biology is really, really weird. The car doesn't feel, doesn't have periods up and down. The car is always running. The only thing that varies is the freaking density of oxygen that enters the freaking intake, and that's it. That's all that freaking changes for it. And maybe the terrain, if you're talking about racing. With the body, man, 1,001 freaking variables impact you every single day. From the food you eat, to how you slept, to what somebody said to you at the traffic light or at the shops, at work, what you're processing, what you're not processing. Cell division happens every single minute, man. It's always happening. Cell division is always going on. You're always evolving. How do you draw a plan in that type of mess? How many days of training till 210 squat? Like, how many days of squat every day, or I don't know how many years of. How many days of training? Like, I don't quite get that. I had motivational music playing. Nice, Josh, man. The Last Dance. I watched it twice, man. Love it. Love it. Learned a lot about Jordan in that one. One thing that I learned is I'm not sure if Jordan would be a good mate or a good teammate. Very, very hard man to live with, I think. Fellas, I'm gonna go to the toilet real quick. Thought about quitting the stream, but I won't. Here, I'll come back in like 2 seconds. A live total break. I'll take you in there, but probably it's not suitable. He's back. I reckon I'll continue this for a very long time, dude. I honestly feel like I found something. I don't want to talk shit, man, but I feel like I found a calling. Not because of the YouTube, man. Like for me, weightlifting is first, and then YouTube second. Like in terms of, like creating videos or whatever. Like for me, the concept of lifting, lifestyle, all of that stuff is what I love, what I really enjoy. By the way, I'm doing just so you know, I'll get back to that question, but just so you guys know, I haven't done this in a little while, but I'm gonna do some marching, ultra low stress. I'm not gonna breathe heavy, just for the hips, try and get that adductor to feel a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a long, like I can't see myself in the future not squatting, if I put it simply, because it ticks so many boxes for me. It's not just gains or whatever. Like a lot of bros coming to the gym like, oh, if I can't squat, if I'm not on the ascend in my squatting career, I'm not interested anymore. I see myself doing this forever, but there's just so many things that I kind of benefit from. So many, like emotional, mentally, physically, obviously. It's a really good way to kind of plan your life around. Like gives me that I'm special, you're doing something right, that kind of stuff, you know. You take this away from me, what am I going to do? Go play basketball socially? Play social basketball with the boys? Roll another ankle? Spend another freaking 12 weeks in a moon boot? I don't know, basketball for me was kind of like what I said about the bros that come to the gym. For me, man, if I couldn't make the NBA or the freaking NBL here locally, I don't want to play anymore, man. Like, because it's not a personal journey. Where this is a personal journey, this is just me. You know, there's only one case study. It's me. It's my score, my problem. It's not, oh, look, somebody's not rocking up today for the social game. They cancelled it. Screw that, man. I need a freaking outlet, man. I had a bad day at work. I gotta get some freaking exercise. Oh, we've got a player missing, so he's gonna cancel it. Can't do that, man. Squats for life. That's it, man. Just move this out like that. I don't do any cardio at the moment. If you're looking to build, what does Rat say? Oh, ATP CP system built for max training that you're lifting. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, cardio is always good. You know, you can't say anything negative about going for a jog or a bike ride. Probably should be doing more of it. Actually, I've been thinking about it recently a little bit. Now that the weather's a little bit, I feel like I'm getting my bike out, going for a ride. I could do that before a session. Maybe that's something to look into. Low bar squats, nah, man, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. Like, my thing is full range of motion, Olympic squats. I've got guys in my mind right now that pop up. That's what I want to look like. I've never seen Lou do low bar squats. I've never seen any of these guys like they're strong without the low bar squats. That's kind of how I think about this stuff. Yes, cardio, definitely. Recovery, definitely. Absolutely. Definitely got a point there. Grab another set of this. Man, that adductor's really bothering me now. I need my rack pulls, man. Really bothering me. It's been like 4 or 5 days now of just squatting, albeit lightly, and already the absence of doing any sort of pulling is bothering me. Why do I do 1 reps? I don't feel good at the moment, man. This is just more than just physical. This is to get me out of the house. Stretch, active stretching, that's what this is. I really try to, in these sessions, not to breathe hard at all. I don't want to breathe heavy at all. I've got tonsillitis basically at the moment. Yeah, where do you live, man? How hot does it get? Yeah, I'll get back to all these. Oh, during hot days, yeah. Yeah, that's it, Steve. You know, I see myself doing in my 40s, my 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm never gonna get rid of my squat rack. I've had this thing now for a long time. I don't need it to do anything else. This is it. It's everything I need. It's so simple, like it's so inexpensive. I mean, initially it might be a little bit, but if you think about like these $5,000 are gonna last me what, 50 years. Antonio, rođen sam u Sisku, Hrvatskoj. Wow, Nicholas, that's amazing. You can squat like that. I'm jealous. Never done any martial arts, man. I don't have a set program. I've never, like, I don't follow a certain program as such. I have the goals that I try to achieve, and I have focuses, right? So right now the focus is lower back training. It's the rack pull. I'm trying to get that strong. That's one goal. Also a side goal to that is getting better at rows, so I'm doing that. How much do I do per day? Depends on the day, or to regulate that. But there are ideas that I'm trying to get after, you know, at any period in my training. There's always a focus. The focus right now is lower back. It's very, very, you know, what am I trying to say? It's a short answer to it. It's not just the lower back. There's a little more to it. But that's what I'm trying to do, get better at the rack pulls. And the hypothesis right now that the deadlift will increase, and then everything kind of will follow. The rack pull is below the knee. The rack pull is, oh man, it's around like the upper third of the shin, around there. Wasting time on mobility exercises stretch instead of getting stronger. I don't know, Sam. I would disagree with you there, man. I don't think mobility is a waste of time at all, man. And I don't think it takes years. Obviously, a lot of people don't see the benefits of range of motion. I definitely think one of the best things anyone could do is learn how to do ATG squats and get the proper mobility to do the squats. Unfortunately, a lot of people have the same mindset as you and be like, nah, I just want to put plates on the bar, and they struggle to even get to parallel. I think that's the wrong thing to do, because once you start putting the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth plate on, the further you get on, the harder it's going to be to convince yourself to kind of shave the bar back all the way to one plate and go to ATG. Mobility, I feel like if you address it initially, then you're done forever. You're always going to have it, and you're never going to lose it. What percentage of society squats ATG, you reckon? Vast majority. I think the vast majority. I don't know what, well, how many people live in the third world? I don't know what the percentages are. But if you don't own a chair, a toilet, if you don't own a car, you could probably ATG squat, because you have to sit somehow. So I don't know what the percentages are, like how much. I mean, there's 7 billion people, 7.5 billion people on the planet. So how many people of those people are in the third world? You know, I don't know what the answer to that is, but the people that are basically the first world people sitting on their chairs, a high percentage of those people can't. I don't know. I'll probably have to look it up to see what the split is. Oh, in the first world, I don't know, man. Like in the Asian world, first world, Asian world, I think a large portion of them can squat ATG purely because of biomechanics, different structure of the body. You know, longer torsos, shorter legs, kind of works in favor for them. If you look at first world people, let's say in Africa, let's say Sudanese people, like their structure is vastly different. Short torsos, really, really long legs. So those people probably have less chance of being really good at it. So, you know, when you control for all of these kind of like outliers of people who have like just bodies that are harder, but then again, like you probably have people in Africa with body types, like I just explained, like the Sudanese, who can ATG squat. I've seen pictures, man. I've seen pictures, you know, guys sitting in ATG position, his freaking knee is here. His knee is here, man. Up to his freaking head. His femur is so long, but he's got the mobility. So it's possible. It's just harder for somebody in the West or in the first world to get there, because you know, he's got equipment which takes more work. So I don't know what the split is. I'll probably I don't know my stats all that well in regards to how much of the world is actually in the third world. Yeah, no worries, man. Appreciate you, dude. I'll see you next time. Probably the same thing again tomorrow. I don't know. Depends how it's not gonna feel any better tomorrow, I don't think. I don't know what's going on. We'll see. Oh wow. 5 weeks no sugar. Well done, man. That's a nice change in somebody's life. Guys, it's 100 freaking minutes. I gotta get in the house. It's getting cold. I'm getting cold. I'm gonna go clean this up, and that's it. Can't believe 100 minutes has gone by that quickly. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. for having a chat to me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See you, Josh. See you guys. Peace out.